to the Bearcats, pride runs deep and strong. In Huntsville, Texas, we sing our song. With love and hospitality, we open up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em hornets, beat 'em up cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. From parks and recreation, where children laugh and play, to the historical treasures that take our breath away. In the piney woods, we find peace and rest. Huntsville, Texas, truly blessed. With love and hospitality, we open up our doors. In this beautiful town, blessings we explore. Sting 'em hornets, eat 'em up cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. Yeah. In every sunrise, in every prayer, God's grace surrounds us everywhere. Through the highs and the lows, we stand as one. In Huntsville, Texas, His will be done. Sting 'em hornets, eat 'em up cats, Sound Houston State, where dreams are at. Good morning, Huntsville, we find our way, guided by God's love every single day. Sam to the Bearcats, our spirit shines so bright. In Huntsville, Texas, we live by faith, we walk in.
Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us.
What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Gay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union,
Good morning, Huntsville.
it's it's an early morning when Irma's driving by honking already. Our fan club this
All
morning,
right,
Jason.
yes.
So it's normally about 7. Maybe she got in trouble, because it's normally like 7:59. She probably has to be at work at 8. She usually honks at 7:59. So good morning to you. That's how we're going to start this morning. Is we get rolling here. Another episode of Good Morning Huntsville, episode 311. We are closing in. We'll get to 365, and then we'll just do reruns for a year. We'll take a break for a year.
You deserve it, Rob.
No, we're all working hard. Everybody is. So, hey, we want to welcome you in. Thank you so much for being a part of it this morning. Great show lined up. Denise Winston is here from representing 4-H this morning. And Kathryn's an intern there, and we'll be talking with both of these ladies here in just a little bit. But as we get started, as always, big shout-out to Paul Oley of the gallery. Paul, we love you, man. Appreciate you. You heard the intro for Paul last week.
Yeah, that was great.
We made an announcement that we weren't playing that anymore, but I'm going to make the sound bite of one little clip of that. But we want to say thank you to Paul Oley for providing the space here for all of your custom framing, photography, and more. It is our good friend Paul Oley at the gallery. You can come by, 1201 University. That is where his office is, in fact, right next to us here, and come by and see him. Also, a huge shout-out and a thank you to Elliott's Jewelers, Elliott Herzig. We appreciate all that he does in the community online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. Guys, it may be time to take care of that significant other, and I'll tell you what, Elliott can do that. Man, speaking of significant others taking care of people, my bride – she is an amazing cook. I always brag on her cooking, and she can whip up anything out of anything. And last night, she made some of the best soft tacos I've ever had in my life.
Wow, that's great. Shout out.
Yeah, so we were grubbing. I had 2 of them, and she looks at me. She goes, "You want one more?" I was like, "Absolutely."
That's great. That's great. It's amazing what you can do when the power comes back on, right?
Yeah, it's like, you return to civilization. Although this morning, a big lightning bolt, as Denise pulled in, I heard this big kaboom. And then I get we have our Ring system hooked up.
Yeah.
And it goes, Ring reported power offline.
Just what you need.
Yes.
Great news for the hip household.
Man, can't wait. It's always they need to, I think, I'm not a gambling man. I don't think that's a good thing sometimes, But Vegas needs to start putting odds on it, out there at Elkins. What are the odds the power's going to go out with this storm? And the house is going to win on that pretty big. But we hope this morning that you have power and that everyone is doing well. Also here on this Thursday is, of course, a big special thank you to Jason Bay and First Baptist. Always a lot of fun to have you. It's been fun over these past couple of months.
Yeah, it sure has. So. We've enjoyed it. It's been great.
Kim told me, your wife told me, she goes, Jason really enjoys it. He looks forward to it. So
I look forward to it. I don't look forward to the time.
Well, I was just telling Denise we're going to scale this bad boy back to 7 this fall.
Thanks for that, Rob.
but don't worry, you can come in at 7:30 faster, so it'll be all right. But we do want to welcome all of you in. Thanks for being here this morning as we continue to get started. Again, got a great show lined up. We're going to learn about 4-H today, some of the great programs going on, and continue to spread the good happening here in our community. I want to remind folks that the FEMA office is still open out at the storm shelter. That is open Monday through Friday. They close at 6 p.m. every day. And someone had told us, go out there, even though you have insurance, make sure because your house got damaged by that, and there still may be some funding. And so we're going to definitely do that. I tried to do it online, and it says there's an identity problem.
Uh-oh.
And someone was telling me that it may be because your driver's license information was old, because my license still had my old apartment address when I had an apartment here. And so maybe that's the case. But I called yesterday, Jason. You go through all these prompts. You know how the system works.
Right.
You go through all the prompts, and then that's already about a 10-minute. My dad would say rigmarole or something. Rigmarole or rigmarole. Yeah. And so you go through that whole rigmarole, whatever that means, and then after 10 minutes, it's like, please hold, and then the computer automated voice. The average hold time right now is, and I'm not joking, it said yesterday evening, 129 minutes. Bleep, hung up. And I told Bridget, I said, I'm going in person.
I tell you, that's the way everything is now. I mean, it takes forever to get a hold of anybody trying to do anything anymore.
Well, Jason, you've had a great series the past couple of weeks on mindset. And I'm going to tell you, the messages that you have been blessed to preach and had the privilege to preach have been incredible, because I've been thinking of all the little things that I get angry about. Really, I have been. And I keep going back to your messages. And I thought about that even yesterday. You know, I was thinking about some stuff, and I was starting to get angry about something, and I was like, there's no point of this.
Right,
you know?
right.
Am I going to allow that to continue to have dominion over my life? Because it's like when you latch on to that, it just it's like putting gas on an open flame.
Yeah. Hey, you know, the basis for this whole series has been that scripture that Paul says, take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. And I think that's the way we have to be with everything, because our thoughts and what goes on in our mind is really a battle for where we go in our life. And if we can't take captive our thoughts, we can't take control of what we think, then I think it leads into a dangerous place. And when we started the series, we talked about anxiety, and we talked a little bit about it on your show about how that can freeze you. We talked about grief a couple of weeks ago, and the importance of dealing with grief. In fact, we're going to be in the next couple of shows. There's a friend of mine I want to bring on that is starting a kind of a grief program at our church, and I think that is so needed, because as we said in this series, and we've talked about on your show, and you mention every week, is you can't do life alone. You know, we're meant to do it together. I always tell people life is a team sport. So we talked about grief and the necessity to rely on Christ and God to get you through these times, but one another. And then last week we talked about anger and how quickly in your mind, you know, they used to think that, hey, if you're angry, you just got to let it out, let it out. But they've proven through study that when you let these angry emotions and thoughts out, it just makes you angrier, and it makes you prone to that type of anger more often. And we see that in our society today. I think there's so much anger, and we talked about that. Just open up the newspaper and see what's going on. There's so much anger in our society, and that's not needed in our culture, and it's for sure not needed in our homes. And the way we handle anger is the way that our children are going to handle anger. And if we don't take captive those thoughts, we're just passing down this negative behavior to our children. Now, this Sunday, I encourage people to come, because this Sunday we're going to be talking about the opposite of that. One of the most important emotions that you can have, and the emotion that God gives us as a gift, and that's joy. To have joy is an emotion that's unlike any other. And joy is not equated with happiness. You know, happiness is fleeting. But joy is something that, despite the circumstances of life, we always look for those points and places where God is at work.
Yeah, man, I love that, Jason. It's good stuff, and it's just been an incredible series, honestly, and it's been good, and I know all glory to God for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's been cool. I've been thinking about it. And, I turned around. Braylon was getting upset the other day, and she was going, oh, like that. Well, I've caught myself doing that in front of her before and not realizing it. And you just said it. Mm-hmm. The children feed off of that. Mm-hmm. And I immediately, in my heart, I was like, God, please forgive me. And please don't allow that emotion to escape me in front of my children again. Because she was literally, here's a little 2.5-year-old, and she's in the back of her car seat. And she's trying to put something together, and it doesn't go together. And she looks at me, and she goes, oh, like that. I was like, whoa, man, where did this come from?
You're not the only one, Rob. We all struggle with these emotions, and that's another thing that we try to get across is, that life is a battlefield, and it's learning how to process these and work through these emotions, and like you said, give God the glory at the end of the day, and realize that without Him, we're hopeless. But if we can recognize these things, like you said, when they begin to come on, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief, whether it's anger, if we can recognize them, then we can know how to approach them.
There's been a lot of things that have happened since you and I last sat here together on this show. Now, we've of course, seen each other since these events, but as far as on this show, we had the hurricane come through.
Right.
A lot of people are still in cleanup mode from that. And then, of course, the events that happened over the weekend with former President Trump. And, you know, one thing that I will say is I always try to look for the good. And if you look for the bad, you're going to find it just like that.
Right.
If you look for the good, you're going to find it just like that. And I still believe that there is so much more good in this world. Now, that doesn't mean that evil's not there. It is. And it's a real thing, and the attack of the enemy is a real thing.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, everything that I've seen, and I have friends that are, I have friends from all different backgrounds, all different types of life, all different, think of all the different things that people could go through. Those are kind of my friends, you know, and because I want to just love on people. And I've seen people that are normally very attack mode, and I'm not getting political, but I'm just saying, different sides of the political side. I've seen a lot of unity, especially through the events that happened this weekend. And that has brought me so much joy. Friends that I never thought would say, like, now is the time to come together. And then former President Trump has literally ripped up his 30-page speech. I'm eager to hear it tonight at the RNC, because now the tone has changed to unity. And, I'm not going to dive off that cliff of politics, but I will say this. It is the time to come together. And I have felt a sense of unity that I have not experienced. And it may not be at that level, but the last time that I can think where I've seen people come together on a common issue of like that was uncalled for no matter what you believe was 9/11.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to say that impact, that those feelings of unity are as close as 9/11, but that's the closest we've got, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think politics is such a blood sport, and it's so ugly. And I think it's just a reminder to us all how short life is and how fragile life is. I mean, just in a moment, things can be totally different. And if nothing else, that should have been an eye-opener for all of our politicians and all of our people that, sometimes we say things, sometimes we do things, but life is so fragile. And we have to really make sure that, be careful what we say and what we do and how we act towards one another. Because like you said, at the end of the day, we're all people.
I think about, a split second and what can happen. And a split second can be the difference between you and I sitting here and it's over. And I went back, and sometimes I'm not very analytical, but sometimes I get a little analytical. And I've been watching a lot of studies on the way that shot took place and how he turned his head. And there's numerous videos now of these analytical people that are respected. It's not just some hobbyist in a basement putting together stuff. And one guy designed just an incredible animation.
I saw that.
And he timed the sounds of the shots that were fired and when the president had
the
turned. The
angle of his head, right.
And it was literally within that millisecond. And if he hadn't turned his head. And so that's the inspiration this morning is, in a very real way, think about how you're turning your head this morning. Are you turning your head to things from above, or are you turning your head to things of this world? And I think when we turn our heads and we focus on the goodness that God has poured out over us, and we think about that, and we know that suffering and pain, it's a very real thing. In fact, when my father passed, you had given me a word that has stuck with me that I never really thought about. The reason that we have pain and suffering, that wasn't God's original plan. It was because sin entered the world.
Right, absolutely.
And I think about, because you explained that in such an easy to understand. I've heard it before, but it's always been this very theological, way that I had to, my brain doesn't compute that stuff.
Mine either.
You said it so easily. I was like, why couldn't somebody explain that so easy, And no disrespect to anyone else, but you did. And I think about that every day now. And I've been able to hopefully help people when they've asked me questions about, well, man, why did that person pass away, or why am I going through this? And I said the tough reality is God never intended for any of this. But when sin entered the world, that's where that came from.
Fallen nature.
But I think about it this morning that we can turn our heads and we can continue to look upon him and be thankful for all that we have around us.
Yeah, because we see glimpses of the enemy for sure, because we live in the fallen world. And we see that all around us. We pick up the newspaper and we read about it, or we turn the TV on and we see it, just like we did last week. But at the same time, we see glimpses of God everywhere as well. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like the mindset thing is it's your choice of what you focus on. You know, you can focus on what the enemy is doing and all the evil around us, and sometimes that we can't help but look at those things. But at the same time, we have a choice as to look and see, you know, in the midst of all of this, God is still at work, and he's still bringing something beautiful out of the mess that we've made.
Yeah, love that. And boy, it does get messy, just like this morning. It's a little messy out there with all this rain and stuff. So, well, hey, that's some of the encouragement this morning. We're going to take our first break, and here in just a few moments, I've been on a Double Dave's giveaway roll lately.
All right.
Our friend Kathleen over there, she hooked us up with a whole stack of stuff, and we've been giving away pizzas, pizza rolls. I don't need any pizza rolls right now. I've been trying to do better, and it's funny because the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, I've limited what I eat. Well, the scale went up 2 pounds. I was like, well, how does that happen, man? I guess it's part of what happens at 40. I don't know. But anyways, it is good eating. There's nothing wrong. Joshua Harris always says it's a cheat day. If you take care of yourself, you're allowed to have a cheat day. But go over there. We're going to give away some more stuff today. Some more pizza coming your way. And all you got to do is text in the keyword. Well, it's July. July is the keyword, along with your name on the Zero Degree Creations phone and text line 936-339-0139. We'll take our first break. Again, our Thankful Thursdays, brought to you by First Baptist Huntsville. Come on out. A lot of fun. Every Sunday morning we have studies at 9:30, and the service gets underway at 10:45. Jason will usually get you out of there by noon.
I love the usually. The more Rob knows me, the more that's changing.
It was 12:02 last week. I was looking at you while you're up there, and I started doing this, and then you went like this. No, you didn't, man. So it was 12:02, but that was all right. So, but come on out. And one other thing I did want to mention, you know, maybe you've said, man, I really want to get plugged in somewhere, but I'm worried about my kids running around during the service. Well, it's a great idea. You know, we had a fan. This is what I love. You know, you take into consideration feedback from people. And we had a family that said, you know, we want to stay connected here, but it's been really tough because our children have to come with us to the service. And you know, even though we have all these other awesome programs, like, they kind of they get a little crazy sometimes. We want to make sure they have somewhere to go. And so we took that feedback, you guys as the staff, and then now there's children's church again.
Yeah.
And so, you know, at that time at 10:45, if you've got children that are 5 to 12, ages, not grades, but ages 5 to 12, you can take them to children's church.
Yeah, and of course we have a nursery, so we have childcare all the way up through age 12. And you don't have to take advantage of those things. Some kids, they mature at different levels, and some kids like to stay in the service. That's perfectly fine. Or if you'd like to send them to our children's programs, that's perfectly fine as well.
I was joking one morning during announcement. I said, I think I'm going to go, because they have a lot of fun in there.
Yeah, they do.
Well, we'll take our first break. Got to listen at your national or your local news, and a word from our sponsors. We'll be back with Denise here in just a few moments. Stay with us. More to come. This is your show here on a Thankful Thursday. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Good morning, Huntsville, and happy Thursday. Here's what's making the news today in our community. Well, mark your calendars for the Huntsville Farmers Market. It's this Saturday, July the 20th, from 8 a.m. to noon. It's located in the parking lot of McKenzie's Barbecue there at 1548 11th Street. The market offering a variety of items for you and your family to enjoy. Local vendors will be ready to serve fresh produce, handmade goods, and more. Don't miss out on this opportunity that happens every Saturday to support local businesses and enjoy a vibrant community event. The Huntsville State Park is preparing to reopen on Monday, July the 22nd after extensive cleanup from Hurricane Beryl. The park, typically bustling with campers this time of year, was severely impacted by the storm on July the 8th with hundreds of uprooted trees and a week-long power outage. Resource specialist Tyler Jackson and his team have been working tirelessly to clear the roads and the trails. While some trails will remain closed due to damage, the park will welcome back visitors to its campsites. Park officials emphasize the importance of state parks and are excited to open the gates once again
for the community to enjoy. And finally, for today's weather, well, you woke up to showers and thunderstorms today. Those should move out of the area by early morning or a little bit later on this morning, actually, and then the day will start out a little more cloudy after that, and then gradually become mostly sunny, a high near 90 degrees. That west wind at 5 miles per hour will remain about a 70% chance of showers through those late morning hours. After things clear out, though, we should be set for a good day. Clouds will return tonight, though, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 a.m., then partly cloudy, a low around 72. Northeast winds will calm in the evening. And then look ahead to Friday. A 30% chance of rain remains in the forecast between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. with partly sunny skies and a high near 88. That's your news for today. Keep it tuned in right here to spiritradio.fm. Until then, have a good day and God bless.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
All right, friends, back at it here, 8:02, and if you had to be at work at 8 o'clock, you can use the rain as an excuse today. You may not be fired. Irma came by earlier. We missed our 7:59 alert, but she gave it to us at 7:39, so thank you for that, Irma. As we continue on, a beautiful morning here in Huntsville. You know what? Despite the rain, it is a beautiful morning. We're thankful for it, and we're thankful to be here. Denise Winston back with us. Good to see you, Denise.
Thanks, Rob.
How have you been? What's been going on?
Doing well. Just transition. Life's about transition, right? And finding the joy in that transition. And so transitioning to new ventures at the 4-H office and over the last couple months and working through the storms.
Well, we did want to say, full disclosure, you are still involved with exchange students. So.
I am, yes. That's a great little side hustle that I don't know that I'll really ever give up because I love the exchange students.
So and we'll have exchange students back with us next month.
I
Yeah,
believe.
well,
So,
they'll start arriving August 15th,
That's
so
coming up.
probably September.
yeah, that's coming up quick. That's going to happen. So
Yeah.
we always love catching up, but we have a special treat today. Miss Kathryn is here with us. We'll have her on in just a little bit. But a lot going on with the new programs at 4-H and those things. Kind of give us some insight about what you've been up to and some things you wanted to highlight today.
Yeah, so 4-H, my family's been a part of 4-H for 12 or 14 years now, but until I started actually working at the 4-H office, I was not aware of all of the programs that it provides. I thought it was really what happens at the fairgrounds, but it's so much more. And so next week we're having some day camps for 3rd through 12th graders, and you do not have to be a member of 4-H to participate in those. So wanted to just talk a little bit about that and some of those opportunities for you to have your kids occupied during the day next week.
Kyle I don't know if you know Kyle Kreiner. He's kind of our jokester on the show. He said, well, there's Denise. He said, where's the nephew?
So that's actually how I got my name.
Is it really? Well,
Yes.
tell us the story then.
So I'm the first grandchild.
Okay.
And so back then, you didn't know if you were having a boy or a girl. And so when I was born, my mom's brother came into the hospital room and said, well, do I have a Denise or a Denephew? And so I'm Denise.
I had a friend, my former analyst, when I was broadcasting for a little Division III program, Southwestern University. It was my first college gig. And I had a gentleman, he's still with us, great man. He's in his mid-80s now. And at the time, he was turning 80 when he was my analyst. His name was Galen Welnicki. It was his last name, Welnicki. And I was joking with him one time, and I said, and I think it was on the air, at the Division III, you can have fun, and you can be professional, but also joke a little. And then I said, Galen, we were in the middle of just an extended timeout. I said, Galen, real quick, let's step away from football. I got to talk about your last name, Welnicki. And I said, where'd that come from? And he told me the story. I said, well, I thought it was back in the day when people didn't have last names, and maybe your mom was named Nikki, and when you were born, the dad goes, well, Nikki, and that's how it happened. So now when you mentioned one other thing, when you mentioned you're so right, because back in the day, like my mom had me, they did, but she opted not to do it because it wasn't a big thing, the sonograms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so my real name is Robin, and I'll never forget. My sister told me when I was growing up, she said, oh, hey, by the way, they messed up in the paper, and I found it. I went to the library in Georgetown, and they had the old microfilms. And have you ever done that before, Jason?
Yeah, that's the way we had to do it back in the day.
It's the coolest.
Microfiche.
Yeah, it's cool, like taking you take these slides and put them under, and you can read the newspaper from back in the day, the microfilm. And I found the one that my sister was joking with me, and it said, hip baby girl. Thank you, Williamson County Sun. My mom said a week later they changed it, made sure it was right. So, well, the 4-H is such a great program. Jason, you've not been involved in 4-H, but in FFA, and I know there's probably a little crossover there with these organizations working together because it's all through the Extension Office, correct?
Well, FFA is mostly through the public school system, or a private school could have an FFA program. But 4-H, they parallel each other, so they have a lot of the same programs, but they each have their own individual programs as well. So, and a student in high school that goes to Huntsville High School that's a member of FFA, they could be a part of 4-H too. And so, just because they offer some of the different, things.
4-H is so much broader as far as age groups goes as well.
Yeah, 4-H. Kindergarten through second graders can be a part of Clover Kids. It's a great way to get them involved in some little activities, and then at third grade they can start showing and doing competitions. And so
I used to have this remembered, and I didn't, so I had to look it up. But the 4-H's stand for, correct me if I'm wrong, head, heart, hands, and health. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Because the Google AI told me that, and sometimes it's wrong. So
yeah, and so and like I said, I've learned a lot. I did not realize everything that 4-H provided: community service, leadership, animals, wildlife, grasses, entomology. They do theater, and it's something for every child and every interest. It really is.
With your role at 4-H, maybe tell us a little bit more about kind of what your day-to-day looks like.
So I'm the 4-H program assistant.
Awesome.
And so Christy Tietzman is over 4-H here in Walker County, and so I help her with anything that she needs help with. We had the state dog show here at the fairgrounds this past weekend, and that was a lot of fun. I told my senior, you are participating in dog club next year because your dog will get trained.
There you go.
He was like, oh my goodness. But it's, dog club.
Yeah, I didn't even know
So many
that.
people have a dog, and take your dog to dog club once a month, and they learn basic commands, tricks, but you can also do like the dog shows AKC dog shows you see on TV. You could all compete all the way up into those levels too.
Now, are there fees to be a part of this? Is there associated fees? How does that kind of work?
So it's $40 to be a part of 4-H.
That's not bad at all.
And you can participate in 1 club or 12 clubs. It's up to you. And that runs from August 15th through all the way through next summer. But these day camps, you do not have to be a member of 4-H. If it's open to anybody. We have 3 day camps next week: line dancing, robotics, and photography. And robotics and photography are intro classes. You don't have to know anything. Just come and see if you like it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are the age groups again for folks that want to get involved or have their youth involved?
Yeah, so for the day camps, it's 3rd through 12th grade, and one of my high school kids is going to line dancing next week with a friend. He's like, I don't know the line dances. I want to do that,
There you go.
So we had a cooking camp a few weeks ago. It was mostly 3rd through 6th graders. But they're open to anybody. The photography, we have quite a few junior high and high school kids registered for the photography camp. And it's minimum. It's $20 for line dancing and robotics, and $35 for photography.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think, Jace, I think a lot about, young people nowadays, and, it's so easy to get their head in front of a screen, and I'll be transparent. Like, Braylon watches stuff from time to time. I did when I was a child. I watched Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street. I loved all those shows, and now they're all coming back because my child is growing up. But it's so important to have the youth out, and you guys, I know y'all raised y'all's kids outdoors. They were always doing stuff. Still do.
Well, we try to. It's been so hot recently, but Kim's like trying to get them outdoors all the time. But no, I think programs like this and the programs that 4-H provides are so important for child development, just teaching them the necessities of life. I can look back on my life, and one of the things that really transformed me in the FFA, but which 4-H also provides, I did show at the Walker County Fairgrounds and all that, but one of the things that I look back on and so thankful for is the leadership skills that they provide, and 4-H I know is just as that emphasizes this, because so much of what I even do, like leading business meetings. I was the president of our school board out at Richards, and leading business meetings. Then goes all the way back to the things that they're teaching in 4-H, and just how to conduct a meeting, how to be a leader, how to provide leadership skills, and how to speak in front of people. Things such as that kids need today, and if they don't get it from places like this, there's not a lot of other places where they can get those resources that they need, because they're just not taught like they used to be. As far as the camps go, what time are those camps?
Yeah, so day camps run from 9 to 3 every day. We provide lunch and snacks.
Wow.
And all of the equipment that they need. So they can call the office to sign up. So that's 936-435-2426. Or you could go to our Facebook page, Walker County 4-H.
And that's at the Extension office, or where's that? Where are y'all located at?
Photography is going to be at the Extension office, which is out off 75 North by the Walker County Water, or right across the street from Mid-South. Line dancing and robotics is actually going to be held at the fairgrounds in the committeeman's room. So there's a limit of 20 students per camp. We do have a few spots left, and so Jessica or Taylor, when you call the office, would be happy to get you signed up and help you get your kiddo registered.
This time of the summer, I know a lot of parents are they're counting down on the calendar to when school starts back, and they're looking for all the vacation Bible schools are out of the way now.
Right.
So they're looking for things for their kids to do. So if you're looking for your kids something to do, this sounds like a perfect opportunity.
We keep them busy.
Awesome.
They're not going to get bored, that's for sure. We've got so much going on during the day for them.
Wow. and so reasonable.
That number again, I just want to make sure I've got it, 936-435-2426.
That's correct.
All right. Well, I can usually get 3 numbers in my head, but when you get to 9, it starts getting jumbled up. So, well, Denise, appreciate you being here. We're going to have Kathryn come on here in just a second, too, and get to know her a little bit, the intern now. She's a student at Sam Houston State University, and is she working alongside you?
She does. She's kind of working for all of the agents in the office, so she's getting to do a little bit more and see all of the things.
We'll prep her right now. We're going to ask who her favorite is so far. We'll take a quick break. Denise, thank you so much for being here. And, again, you can get more information. Go to their Facebook page. You can also call the office at 936-435-2426. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we will have Kathryn with us. A reminder, our Thankful Thursdays brought to you by First Baptist Huntsville, online at fbchuntsville.org. I got that right. I've got so many letters flying through my head. FBC, I should know that, Pastor. fbchuntsville.org for more information. Hey, by the way, giving away some double Daves today. All you got to do is text in the keyword July along with your name on the Zero Degree Creations phone and text line. That number, 936-339-0139. Stay with us. We'll have a word from more of our sponsors. We'll be back in a few moments. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
Grow again. Tomorrow's Promise is excited to announce our 3rd location to better serve the families of Walker County and surrounding areas. At Tomorrow's Promise, we are more than just childcare. We pride ourselves on partnering with parents and creating a place where every child is respected, loved, and nurtured in the highest quality environment. See what makes us the perfect fit for your child and their needs. Schedule a tour and learn more about Montessori.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tpms.life for more information. Education you can trust.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp here for Elliott's Jewelers. I wanted to take a brief moment to let you know if you're looking for someone in the jewelry business right here in Huntsville, look no further than my good friend Elliott Herzlich. He's helped me out time and time again, whether it was that wedding band that I needed a while back or that special ring for Bridget. He's always been there for me. He goes above and beyond. He's also a person who gives back to the local community. I like to do business with those who give back, and that's exactly what Elliott Herzlich of Elliott's Jewelers does. Hey, if you feel like you don't know what to do, maybe you don't know where to turn, what to look for, Elliott is the person. Again, it's Elliott's Jewelers. You can visit him online at elliotsjewelers.com for more information. And when you call him, let him know that you heard from his good friend Rob Hipp. Again, it's Rob here for Elliott's Jewelers. Visit him online at elliotsjewelers.com.
All right, Huntsville, back at it. Time now, 8:17 as we continue on. And Kathryn Glover joining us here on the show. Good morning, Kathryn.
Good morning.
Good to see you today.
Good to see you, too.
Sam Houston student?
Yes.
Eat 'em up, cats?
Yes, sir.
What's your current grade level? Is that what you say in college, like grade level? Do you still say that, or how does it work?
I think it's just classification.
Oh, see, classification. See, you know. I don't know. So what's your classification?
I am a senior. I actually graduate August 3rd this summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you studying?
Animal science.
Okay, so
yes,
right
sir.
up your alley then.
Yes.
So that's how did the internship work then? How did that connection happen?
Actually, Dr. Kelly put me in touch with Mr. Eric over at the District 9 office, and he set that up, and I got the internship.
How cool is that? First time doing an internship?
Yes, sir.
What's the experience been like for you so far?
It's been very good. It's been very busy. We've got something different every week. But overall, I've had a pretty good time. I've been loving it.
I didn't want to embarrass you, but I forgot to do something. Do you know what it is? Denise knows. It's a very coveted thing here on the show. And anytime we have a new person here, Kathryn, Miss Glover, we have a special horn here. And that you're supposed to hook this up to a truck. That's what this is for. But I figured out one day, I finally had some brain cells that actually worked a little bit better than others. And
I figured out you could just blow into this with your mouth. And so you get 2 toots of the horn this morning as our first time guest, all right?
Okay.
There you go. Welcome in. So
Thank you.
I call it the embarrassing horn, you know. So well, this is cool, you know, getting to be involved with 4-H and just being out there in the community now. What was maybe some of the things that you really got excited about whenever you heard of this opportunity?
I grew up in 4-H, so I was very excited to get to work alongside of the extension agents and see really what they do on a day-to-day basis.
Now, I was joking, but I wasn't joking. I was going to ask you this question because you're around a lot of folks that work in the organization. Who's your favorite person over at 4-H?
They're all my favorite. They all give me different advice, and they all do different things. So, you know, one day I could be working with Meredith on food and nutrition, and that could be fun. I could be working with Miss Christie with 4-H, and which is what I'm going to be talking about today for the 4-H program.
Yeah.
And then I could be working with Dr. Jamie with Ag and Natural Resources.
Or your favorite Denise, right?
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about the programs. I know there's some things that you wanted to highlight today, so give us some updates and talk about some of these programs.
Yes, sir. So next Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30, we'll be having a 4-H 101 over at the Extension office. And this is just a informational night for families in the community to come out and learn more about the different programs in 4-H. Because one of the things that we've seen and heard was, you know, most families don't really know what 4-H is and don't know all of the opportunities that it has to offer. So Tuesday, all the families can come out and they can just learn about all the different programs in 4-H.
So this is on two. Now, does this happen? Is this kind of an ongoing thing, or is it just a one-time deal? Is it this and it's this coming up Tuesday next week?
Yes, sir. It's Tuesday the 23rd. We are hoping for to come on the radio show and kind of just broadcast it and every month and just tell everyone, you know, hey, there's still opportunities out in 4-H that you can get your kids involved in.
Awesome. Well, again, I think one of the best ways to kind of keep up to date is I'm scanning here. You can follow the 4-H on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Walker CO4H. You guys have done a great job just posting all sorts of information on there about the upcoming events and what's going on at 4-H. How long have you been an intern now? Did this just start, or has it been a little while?
I believe I started on June 3rd, so I'm going into my almost third month.
What is I know you said you get to work with different, you know, agents. Maybe kind of what does a day-to-day look like for you? How do you get your assignments from 4-H? How does all that work?
So the extension agents, some of them, they're all over the place. So if one is not there, then I'll go to another one and they'll tell me what to do for the day. If like two of them aren't there, then I'll go to the third one and then they'll tell me what to do for the day. But we have a schedule in place. So I'm working with someone different each week.
Well,
she gets voluntold.
Yes, I get voluntold.
That's a Huntsville word, by the way, that I've learned here. You don't get asked, you get told in Huntsville.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
Yes.
Well, I know you're from Waller. How did the connection to Sam Houston State University work? Where did you find out about Sam?
I actually have always wanted to go to Sam ever since I was a little kid. I don't know why, but my sister, she's 4 years older than me, so she actually came to Sam first. And so I just wanted to come to Sam. You know, it's not too far from home.
Yeah.
It's not too close to home. It's just right that perfect middle. So that's how I ended up
I think
at
that's
Sam.
good for you. You know, you still want to be like close enough to where if you need something, but far enough away
Right?
to where it's like, are you coming over for dinner tonight? Right? No, I can't. It's too far. So,
Right.
Well, these camps are coming up. I'm assuming that you're going to get to help and work with some of
Yes,
these
sir.
camps. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
let us know maybe a little bit more about the camps coming up and what you're looking forward to with those?
Yes, sir. So Monday will be line dancing.
Now, are you a line dancer?
Absolutely not. I already told Miss Christie, I said, Miss Christie, I cannot dance to save my life.
I was going to tell you, there's a couple of places here in Huntsville, but some of the administrators at the university don't like the students going to those, like there's a couple of staples in this community that have been here, so don't learn dancing there.
Right. But yes, I can't dance, but Miss Christie said that's fine. She's got it. She knows how to dance. She's actually a very good dancer. We have photography on Wednesday, I believe.
Okay.
And I think that's great for the kids because, most people nowadays, they're always looking to have their pictures taken. I just had grad pictures taken. I was like, oh my gosh, who am I going to get to take my grad pictures? But I found somebody at literally the last minute. So I think photography is going to be really great. And then we have robotics, which is another thing in 4-H another program that kids can get involved in. And I believe it's making robots and doing stuff like that. So I think that'll be really cool and fun to learn.
That's awesome. Well, Kathryn Glover here with us this morning. It's so great to get to know you and learn a little bit more about your role and just your involvement level. I think it's awesome. For you as a student being at Sam Houston, what would you encourage other students if they had an opportunity to be part of an internship? What would you say to them?
I would tell them to take it. It gets you the experience that you need, and you can learn from it. And honestly, if you do an internship somewhere, you can possibly get a job at the place you're interning at, and I think that's very cool.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. Perfect example I can think of is Miranda, who works for the city now in economic development. She was with the program there with Mike Yon and the LEAP ambassadors, and as an intern for the city, she got hired on. And so you're 100% right. For you, a senior, where do you want to be? What are you looking forward to once you graduate? That's coming up real quick, right?
Yes, it is. I'm hoping to go into extension, into the extension service. I don't know where I would like to be placed just yet, but I don't want to go, too far.
You want to stay in Texas?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely.
You got to learn the ways of the land. I went all the way to North Dakota, and it's good people, but it's, it is cool. I'm going to say some encouragement, though, to you. Now, I don't ever tell people what to do, but I will encourage you. I would say if your family's okay with it, if you have a chance to get out and explore, I would absolutely encourage you to do it. For us, going to North Dakota was one of the best experiences I ever had because I got to meet not only a whole new culture of people and make new friends,
right,
but I also got to experience what a real winter is like, where it doesn't get above freezing for 100. But I'm going to tell you, at 38, doing that at 39, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. And so I will say, I think I'd be doing you a disservice by telling you, hey, you need to stay in Texas. If you have an opportunity to get out, expand your horizon because you never know what opportunities are going to lie ahead in front of you.
Right.
So, well, awesome. Anything else that you want to highlight this morning while you're here with us?
I think that's it.
All right. Well,
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
Well, fun to have you on. We want to keep up to date with what you guys are doing at 4-H, and so I'll let Denise know you're welcome back anytime in the 4-H program. And continue to provide us updates, and we'll post those events on our website too. So
sounds good.
All right. And hey, you know what? This would be a really interny thing if you're interested. You can actually log into our website and submit those events.
There you go.
So that may be an interny type thing
That's
that would be
right.
beneficial.
Right.
So we have a young lady, Michelle Cardenas, helps us here at Hello Huntsville. She hasn't been here for the summer because it's during the summer, but one day I had her hold like a binder. I said, hey, can you carry this? She's like, thank goodness. And I said, what? She goes, you haven't given me many interny looking things yet. So, well, awesome. Well, Kathryn, thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thank you
Thank you, Denise, as
Thanks,
well.
Rob.
All right, keep up to date with the 4-H program on Facebook. Make sure to follow them. Super easy, facebook.com/Walker County. It's Walker CO 4-H. We'll take our final break as Jason Bay rejoins us. I'm sure he's got some news you can use today for us, and so we'll talk about that when we come back. Final opportunity, too, to text in that keyword July along with your name on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. We'll take another break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Here we grow again. Tomorrow's Promise is excited to announce our third location to better serve the families of Walker County and surrounding areas. At Tomorrow's Promise, we are more than just childcare. We pride ourselves on partnering with parents and creating a place where every child is respected, loved, and nurtured in the highest quality environment. See what makes us the perfect fit for your child and their needs. Schedule a tour and learn more about Montessori.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tpms.live for more information. Education you can trust.
In the night I feel so low. Darkest days they come and go, but your love it always shows. Jesus, you're my heart's glow. When the world is caving in, lost in shadows, feeling thin.
All right, back at it, Huntsville. Time now 8:30 as we wrap up our final segment here this morning on another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. We appreciate all of you being with us. Jason Bay back. Great interviews there a few moments ago with Denise and Kathryn.
Yeah, it reminded me, my degree at A&M was in animal science. And so hearing her talk about her degree and the things that she's going through, back in the day, I went through a lot of the same things. I loved coming out of Huntsville and being involved in the FFA program, which is very similar to the 4-H program. That's why I wanted to pursue a degree in animal science, and so that's where my degree is in.
Did you know at the time? I have to ask you this now. Did you know at the time when you were doing that, you're like, maybe one day I'm going to be a pastor?
Oh, absolutely not. No way. I would have never believed you, because I didn't like not being in front of people and speaking in front of people or anything like that was my greatest fear at that time. And it just shows you that, the Lord gives you strength in your weaknesses.
That's what Joel at Lakewood he used to always say, I didn't know I had it in me. That's what
I always say, growing up in agriculture and that kind of mindset, that's what I wanted to be in. But I learned it's a lot easier, as David did, it's a lot easier leading sheep than it is leading people.
There you go. I had to ask that because we were going to a church called Northview Church up in Fargo when we got up there. It's a great church, and the pastor there is a great young man, and I'll never forget, the reason I started going there is because he invited me to play basketball. He goes, hey, man, you play basketball? I said, absolutely. He goes, come play basketball with us tonight. And so I got to know him, and he goes, I never even thought I was going to be a pastor. I said, what'd you do before? He said, I went to pharmaceutical school. He's like, I was slinging pills, man.
Yeah.
And then he became a pastor. So.
I know. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at you, as you know. I don't know how many times they say people change their careers, but most people start out in something different than they wind up in.
That's cool, being just, again, having that positive mindset and allowing God to work, does incredible things.
Yeah.
Well, it's your segment. We got some news you can use today.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in our world, and, I try not to pick the obvious topics, the ones that are out there, but maybe some things that people may have heard about or some things that they could discuss over a dinner table. But this year, I don't know if you heard about it. I know you're a sports fan, but the All-Star game was played up in Fort Worth in Arlington, and so they brought all the all-stars of baseball there to play, and one of the big events that they have at every all-star game is the home run derby. And as you know, at the beginning of any major sporting event is the Star-Spangled Banner.
Absolutely.
Well, this year someone sang. Her name was Ingrid Andress. I'd never had heard of her before. Have you ever heard of her?
Never heard. Won a bunch of Grammys.
Yeah, 4-time nominated for different Grammys. She had a hit single in 2019 called "More Hearts Than Mine," but I had never heard of her. But that's not saying much. I don't listen to a lot of different music because I'm always listening to you, Rob.
That tells me I need to zip it up. Sorry.
But anyway, they have come down and said this is perhaps the worst rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner ever. Now, I know you've called a lot of games, a lot of sporting events. You've probably heard a lot of national anthems throughout your career. You heard any really memorable ones that were very good, or maybe some that were pretty bad?
You know, I can't really name one off the top of my head as far as good or bad. I know for a fact I've never heard one that was bad. I can say that I've never heard one that was bad, because you got to be there has to be something going on for it to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I've heard ones that are like, oh, that was okay, but it wasn't like great. I just can't think off the top of my head though of. I love the ones where. A perfect example, and I had a privilege to public address announce a couple of NBA Development League games for the San Antonio Spurs affiliate, the Austin Spurs. And that was a really cool deal because at the Cedar Park Center, man, they'll pack 8,000 people to these D-League games, one of the biggest arenas now it's called the G League. Gatorade League, yeah. But and that's a whole nother story of how it was really cool to get that privilege. And I did it for used to fill in every once in a while for a friend of mine. But I'll never forget the most memorable ones that I remember is when they would ask the local schools and the kids and the choirs, and those kids sing it.
Yeah,
those were the ones that I remember.
Well, it's a really difficult song to sing, and I think when you're on the spot, I can't imagine what the pressure must be like for especially kids, but for even professional singers that have totally flopped at it. But I brought in just a clip, 1-minute clip of the song in case people have been living under a rock and haven't heard it. So roll that and let's discuss afterwards.
All right, here it is.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
Yeah, I got to turn that off. That's just, in a way, it's offensive.
Yeah.
I had a comment.
Yeah.
From the Horn fan, they're exactly right. It's offensive.
Yeah. So people were blowing up social media, obviously, after that, with all sorts of comments about what was going on. And when I heard it, I thought, something must be off because this is a professional singer.
Yeah.
Someone that is a professional. You would think that. Unless there's a whole lot of AI going on, something must be.
No, and I've heard her music. Outside of that, I didn't know anything about her until I started researching. And I said,
she can sing really well.
Right.
Except that.
Yeah. So after that, and a lot of things were said on social media and everything, she did come out and said that she's been struggling for a long time with mental health issues, which is what we've been talking about. And she was totally drunk at the time that she sang this song, and she's since admitted herself into a rehab facility. So be in prayer for Ingrid Andress. I know that it's, I think going through difficulty is one thing, but going through it on national TV is a whole nother thing. But definitely a unique rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, but definitely needs our prayers because she is going through a difficult time there. So, but anyway, I thought that was one of the things that's just going on in our world today. You just
you think about that, and we didn't play that, as a way to be disrespectful to our country. It was tying it into the mental aspect of things about people are going through stuff.
Yeah.
But I did find it extremely offensive, and I think you're right though. There's a time. Think about things in your life where maybe something has happened, and there's somebody that you know that has done something that they normally don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to support that person and help them through that? Or are you just going to be like, I'm done with this person? And I think, and when you're, and it depends on the situation, but I think, you know what, you got to love on people and you got to pray for people. And I would encourage, like you said, to pray for this young lady, because obviously she's going through something.
Well, and that's
hopefully she changes hopefully she changes what's happening.
Yeah, and that's what people were saying. I mean, afterwards, of course, the comments, I think, were just piling on, but at the same time, it did bring attention to an issue that she's going through, and a lot of other people are going through. Another article that I came across is with the issues that we see in our world today with the shooting that we saw with Donald Trump and a lot of others. There's a new book that an expert mentioned, and I thought some of the things that she said was important. And a lot of these shootings that we see going on in our world are you look at the people when they posted the young man's picture. A lot of these people, they look similar. They're younger, at 20. What was he? 20 years old.
20 years old.
20 years old. And one of the things that this expert said is that in younger boys and men that they're noticing is what she called a crisis of connection. Now, she talks about in the book a crisis of connection with themselves and their own feelings, but also the crisis of connection with other people. It's a mental health issue. It's a spiritual warfare that we're talking about. I mean, these things are what we're seeing is pure evil, and these things are going on in the mindset of people that are driven into a complete opposite direction of what we consider rational, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do we confront these issues, these spiritual battles that are taking place? We could talk about, as people do, about gun control and issues, and the politics usually sway it in that manner, and you see these battles. But what it really comes back to, like I said, is spiritual warfare, the battle that's going on in the mind, the mindset of people to do something like that. And in this article and in this book that she writes, she talks about how important it is for men and boys especially to be able to connect. And there is a lack of connection. And that's where I believe that the church is so important to meeting the needs, especially of our men who are called to be the spiritual leaders, to be there and discuss what's going on in your heart and mind, what's going on, what are your battles, what are you dealing with, so that you know that you are not alone. I mean, we've talked about on this show and at church and how important it is that when you go through those, anxiety, grief, anger, just some of the emotions that we feel, how important it is to reach out for help, number one, from God, and number two, from one another. if you don't have that outlet, if you're not providing that outlet, then, I think the battle is much, much tougher. It's pure evil is what we're seeing going on in our world. How do we combat that? We have to recognize it's a spiritual battle.
That's good. I mean, we do. And just like we heard, what that young lady was going through.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. We weren't doing that to joke around. I mean, it's a very serious thing. And, there was something that I heard one time from a pastor who had made there was another pastor that was talking about another pastor. And he had told a story. And this, and I'm not going to go in. I don't even know the guy's name, but you've heard of all the things that go on, years ago with the falling out of some churches and things. And you're talking about well-known televangelists, I guess you will. And I don't know the name of this person, but this pastor was telling a story, and he goes, this guy had made a horrible mistake, and he admitted it, and he owned up to it. And he said, but he lost everything that he had been blessed with through his ministry. And this wasn't like a fall, whatever that guy did. This wasn't him. It was something else. And I didn't even know the guy's name, but he was talking about him. I didn't recognize the name. Let me say it that way. But he said, he lost all of it. And he goes, God touched my heart and told me that I needed to, one, be real with him, acknowledge, you messed up. And you need to ask for forgiveness of that. But he goes, but two, I needed to be there for him. Because this pastor was saying this pastor had called all of his other friends in the ministry, and they said, we don't want anything to do with you anymore. And my pastor at the time was the only one that said, you know what? He goes, I obviously I don't agree with what you did, but he goes, but we're also called to be compassionate. And he goes, I'm here for you if you need to talk.
Yeah.
And that pastor has now been able to rebuild the ministry. He's asked for forgiveness, and the ministry now, according to him, is going a lot. It's going much better now.
Right.
And so I think that's even with this young lady. I think about that today. I know it's so quick to judge, and I'm not saying you got to jump on the bandwagon of being everybody's friend, but I do think we are called to be there for people and to pray for people, and you can help them to a degree. Sometimes I think you get involved in helping. You can help people too far to where you start sacrificing your own family, and you got to be careful of that. But I do think the word that comes to mind is being compassionate and praying for folks when they're going through something. And I think of none other, and I'll say his name because I know him. I've talked to him. It's James. He's a homeless guy that's around our community. And, there's a lot going on in his life, and he and I have had several discussions before, and God has put him on my heart just to love on him. And as a community, and there's things that he does that are like, hey, man, you can't do that, But I also feel a tug that, I got to keep loving on this guy because I see light at the end of the tunnel for him, and one day God's gonna heal him of all that.
Well, this young lady is a perfect example, and James and the other man that you mentioned are perfect examples of all we see is the outside. All we see is what people portray to us. Many times we don't know what's going on the inside, what they're dealing with, the battles that they're facing constantly. And, as a professional singer, 4-time nominated for Grammy, hit single, and you think, oh, she's got it all together. It shows up, and immediately when I heard about that and listened to it, I thought, something's off. Something's got to be deeper going on there. And sure enough, I'm glad that she came out and
made the public apology.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think she made that apology because of the backlash. She made the apology because she knew that
she was embarrassed, totally embarrassed.
Extremely,
obviously, that's not her.
And I went through the Instagram account and I saw other things where you could tell that it wasn't bad singing, but it looked like she was reaching out. And this isn't somebody that's extremely, I think she only had like 27,000 followers. It's not like she's this national Taylor Swift type person, or somebody that has that kind of influence.
Right.
So I was just, I think it's a good point. We weren't playing that to make fun or to poke fun. We're playing it to give you some insight as if people are dealing with stuff.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of the mental health issues that we face. And I think it's so important, like we said in this whole series, is that when you get to that point, be willing to ask for help.
Yeah, do it. I've learned if people want to help, allow them to help. I was telling you the other day, I said, man, I just don't know how to Because, folks that ask, you guys that ask, hey, can we come help cut the tree down? By the way, I've got your chainsaw. It works very well. I got to get it back to you.
You sharpen the chain.
Jim Beam got that bad boy going, man. But if somebody wants to offer help and there's any inkling that you could use it, accept it. Accept that. Yeah. Because I've learned, too, that's someone else's joy. There's joy when people want to help you. If you have any inkling of the help, allow them to help you, because then you're robbing that person of their joy. Now, I don't know about you. The joy probably wasn't, hey, Rob, I'm going to come cut down your tree. That wasn't very joyful.
Yeah. No, it was.
But we appreciate it.
It was fellowship. It was fellowship.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate all. Jason, anything else today going on?
No, that's about it. I just want to, like I said, we delve into these topics, and this whole series has been kind of when you start talking about these things, you can get kind of drawn down. But this final sermon, the series I've been working on, is probably the most important, and it's joy. In the midst of all of this, the Lord has said that He has come to bring us joy, and that we may have it in abundance. A lot of times we overlook that. Joy is not that everything goes right, that you have a brand new car and you pay all your bills, everything is wonderful. But joy is finding that peace in the midst of circumstances. And so I encourage everyone out there, find your place in a church this Sunday. Find your place in a community of people that love you. Find your place surrounded by people where you can be open and honest with, that you can share your weakness with, and that you can find the help that you need to make it through the things we face in this world.
Absolutely. Well, Brother Jason, thanks for being here.
Brother.
It's a good word today. It's a good word today, and think about that as you go on today. What can you do to help out others and be there for them? That'll wrap it up. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday. We're going to be on the road, by the way. We're going to Sam Houston State University bookstore.
All right.
We're going to be eating them up, cats over there. Somebody hopefully will have breakfast over there for us. So we'll see. We'll eat them up when we're there. We'll be there live, Garrick Long in the Sam Houston State University bookstore. So join us for the road show as we hit the hometown spotlight tomorrow morning with Billy Cawthon and Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. That'll wrap it up, friends. As always, I'm Rob Hipp along with Jason Bay here on a Thankful Thursday. As we end this show, reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We do need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. We'll see you, Jason.
All right. God bless you.